Well, hello, I'm Jack Cox, author of Love Not Fear, and I'm joined by my usual co-host, Paul Simon Smith, who runs the
Hello.
Nutrient Nirvana Nutrient Company. And a little bit later on, we'll be also joined by Teresa Fox, who's going to give us another one of her wonderful meditations. Why does that do that? Why does that do that?
There's 2 weeks running, Jack.
I don't know why it does that. Anyway, yeah. I think I hover over it when I should be moving the mouse off it. But anyway, yeah, you say you've been working hard making magnesium tablets all day.
Yeah, today the orders are coming in thick and fast now for the magnesium. So, yeah, it's quite a time-consuming process to make the capsules. So I've spent most of the day doing that, which I'm not complaining, of course. But and it's good to hear so many good stories from people about. Obviously, can't say too much on here, but about how they're recovering in lots of different ways just by taking these capsules. So.
Well, I swear by them, as you know, and I've just ordered another 180, so that'd be brilliant. I was really poorly last year, as you know. Towards the end of the year, I just had some bad flu. It was a bad flu, and it was compounded by the fact that I'd run out of your magnesium tablets, and I was having to make do with the ones I got from Holland and Barrett.
Oh dear.
Which were much, not a lot of use of the punch up, to be honest.
I don't know how much we can say about that, but I would say that up until very recently, Holland and Barrett were owned by the Carlyle Group, and the Carlyle Group are most famous for dealing in weapons.
Yeah.
So it should put people off if they know that, getting their supplements from weapons dealers. You couldn't make it up.
You couldn't make it up, mate, no. Right, I've got a couple of announcements to make before we get stuck in. Unashamed plugs, I'm afraid. As some of you know, most of you who are following me on Facebook probably know, I run a friendship and dating group on Facebook called Truthers Friendship and Dating, which is really for the unjibby-jabbed. And it's just not because we've got anything against people who've made their decision to take the jibby-jab. We've got nothing against them at all. But we just want a safe place where we can be respected by the people that may made the same choices that we've made. Well, as of later on tonight, there will be a live website, truthersdating.com. So whether you're interested in dating or just want to make more friends in the Truther community, please do sign up for it. Trutherdating.com. A friend of mine at the Stafford group sort of suggested I ought to do it. So I got on and did it.
It's a great idea.
A lot of work, but yeah, worth it, I think. The other thing I want to unashamed plug for is my Friday show, Co-Creating the New Earth Together. And had a very interesting guest on last Friday, who's basically a Reiki healer, but she's involved in lots and lots of other things, including the local community garden and helping people out during the lockdowns, people who were stressed out and living in fear, by sending them out free aromatherapy candles and all that kind of stuff. So please come on to the Facebook group, Creating the New Earth Together, and also the new website that I've got to go with that group, and it'll all be down. I'm not going to be I'm knocking my microphone here. It'll all be down in the description box.
All part of building
what
a new
else did I
community.
want? Sorry?
All part of building the new community, isn't it, Jack?
Absolutely, absolutely. And this Friday, I've got a very interesting lady coming on who does shadow work. And we can all benefit from working with our shadows and learning more about that. And the week after that, I've got the lady that actually runs the community garden in Ellesmere Port. And the week after that, I've got our very own Teresa Fox coming on to talk about homeschooling.
Hooray. What time on Friday is the show, Jack? What time?
It's the same time as this show. It's 6:30.
6:30. Brilliant. Okay.
On
I saw last week's and I thought she was very good. I recognised her. I've seen her before on social media somewhere, and she came across really, really well. It was a really good interview. So if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it.
Great. Thanks, Paul. So what are we going to talk about this week?
Good question, mate. Good question. We've got
loads. You've been busy all day. And to be honest, I didn't get any sleep last night. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning getting this dating site up and running. And it's still not quite finished, but it'll be ready about an hour after the end of this show. So I haven't actually prepared a lot either. But there's a couple of things I want to talk about. I talk an awful lot about if we could only work together with each other and in harmony with one another and in harmony with the planet, we could actually achieve an awful lot more. We're all born into this world that is based in fear and the fear of lack. I keep going on about it. And that makes us want to compete with one another. Now, I talk about all this stuff and people think I must be a raving lefty. Actually, I was brought up in a very conservative family. My father taught me the importance of competition. Teresa's here. Hang on. Hi, Teresa.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Good to see you.
How is everybody?
We're doing well.
Me too.
Paul's stressed out because he's been working all day, and I'm stressed out because I didn't get any sleep last night. So between us, we're a right mess. But anyway,
I'm joining the club. Hi.
Before you came on, I was talking about competition. And my dad taught me about the value of competition. It keeps us on our toes. And he looked at it very much in a capitalist way, that the companies, the firms, the businesses that do really, really well survive, and the ones that don't go to the wall. And I could understand that, and it made a lot of sense at the time, until I realized it was based in fear, this fear of not having enough. Well, I believe if we cooperate, we can all have enough because we'll be more efficient. But I also believe at the same time in the value of competition, because that also keeps us on our toes. So wouldn't it be great if we could, instead of competing for how much we could take out of society for our own personal use, big house, fast car, a sexy spouse, if we could compete for how much we put into society, how much we contribute. It's just a simple flick of the switch. What we're doing for society. And this thing I'm doing on Friday, this show I'm doing on a Friday, is very much geared to people that are putting something in. They're not all necessarily putting it in for free. I'm not asking people to do that. We still live within the greater money-based economy. people do things in their own different ways. As I say, Livy, who was on last week, she was doing Reiki and sound healing and crystal healing and all kinds of different things to try and help people. And Karen, who I've got coming on this Friday, is very much into doing workshops and one-to-ones, doing hang on, I've got chat on here. I haven't got the chat on. Doing shadow work. And Teresa, when I have you on in a couple of weeks, you'll be talking about homeschooling. So we're all putting something into society in our own way to help to build a better world. And I think we can build a better world, I really do. Eventually, I want to build a better world based on love and generosity instead of meanness and fear. Meanness and fear is all we've ever known. It's what we were born into. So if we can cooperate together and help each other to thrive, if we can help the Joneses keep up with us instead of trying to keep up with the Joneses, everything changes, doesn't it? Everything changes. And although I don't like to talk too much about what's wrong with the world, because what we focus on is what we create, we need to have a contrast. So we need to be aware of the world we're moving away from and what's wrong with it, without dwelling in it. As Mother Teresa said, if you have an anti-war rally, don't invite me. If you have a peace rally, I'll come. It's a matter of focus.
So Jack, with our group, I mean, you probably all know me and Teresa belong to a group called Community United, based in our local town, Thurrock. Obviously, we're looking into a community garden that's underway. We're doing a protest, or should I say protest? We're doing a rally, if you like, a demonstration in a couple of weeks' time with regards to health autonomy. Just leave that there. But what other suggestions have you got for trying to get your ideas incorporated into our group?
Into your group? I don't know, really.
Well, because there are plenty. There's plenty of groups all around the country now that have set up over the last couple of years with the mass awakening of people, and people are coming together now, and we're sort of finding out what community means again. But is it just a simple case of in the group, say there's 15, 20 members in our group, are we
sorry about that.
Let me jump. Should we
I may jump too. Someone's in here.
Having a smashing time.
Yeah, someone's in here.
Sorry, Paul, you were saying.
That's all right. Should we be offering our own individual skills in and amongst the group for free, or how would we go about incorporating those sort of ideas into the group?
Well, the great thing about having a group is we can teach each other, we can skill share. We can teach each other the things that we know.
Okay.
Definitely.
Sorry, Teresa?
Definitely skill share. I think if we're going to be creating a new earth, a new world, new way of doing things, then it can't be half-heartedly, and it definitely can't be half a job. So I think it means stepping away and back from everything we know and trying something new. I don't think, say money, for instance, I don't think we could pay someone for services like skills, something that is free. That should really be like a trade, like a swap, like skill for skill, knowledge for knowledge, as much as it possibly can.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a transition stage at the moment between the old system and the new system. So while we're very much stuck in the old money-based system, we have to pay our way, and if you're doing something for somebody, we have to pay for our raw materials and all that kind of stuff. I think we need to be a little bit flexible about that. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, I'd love to move to a world where there was no money, where what goes around comes around.
I'm finding that at the minute, especially with the homeschooling, it can be a very expensive journey. So one way for me, an idea for me to keep costs down was to have a more of a group and a community where we all contribute together.
Yeah.
So that way, no one's left without. If anything, more people benefit, and at a cheaper cost once it's divided between us all. So, I mean, to begin with, I'm fronting everything and trying to find that, but with the aim that eventually I'll share everything that I have.
Yeah, I mean, although we can't transform the whole world into the new society overnight, we can
No,
start
we
small
definitely
groups.
make a start, yeah.
We can start small groups.
And teach our young. Maybe they can do it better.
And I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record because I talk about this every week, but my idea is to have groups based around community gardens, because food is our first need.
Mm-hmm.
Where we open the group up to non-gardeners who have other skills, and they get free food in exchange for doing Reiki healing or whatever therapy it is that they do, or plumbing or electricianing in, or whatever it is that they do.
So I asked
They can all do something.
one of the kids, where does milk come from? And they said Tesco's.
Sorry, Teresa, didn't catch that.
I asked one of the kids, where does milk come from? And they said Tesco's. So that needs to change.
Yeah, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it's so true, isn't it? Kids just aren't taught. The schools don't teach. I mean, I've been a long time trying to get schools to have gardening groups.
Yeah.
But schools aren't designed to help us thrive and survive. They're only designed to help us be cogs in the wheel.
And even more so since they've changed to academies, because they're just businesses now.
Yeah, well, you know more about that than I do, Teresa. Maybe you can talk about that more. But I mean, what can you do? What can you say?
Your best.
People. I mean, I was lucky because I went to a fairly unorthodox school, private.
Sorry, Jack, you're from
private. I
London,
don't
aren't you?
mean posh.
Jack, you're from Soho, is that right?
I'm from where?
Soho?
Originally, I'm from Portsmouth.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you were a Londoner.
No, I'm not a Londoner.
Ah, Portsmouth.
I spent a few years in London, but no, I'm not from there.
Ah, so you're from Pompey.
And you two are both Essex kids, aren't you?
Well, I suppose I'm from London, really. My family are a mixture of South and East London.
Yeah.
But I've lived most of my life in Essex. Yeah.
Essex through and through, me.
Moving swiftly along.
I mean, I'm a nomad. I come from everywhere because I can never settle. I've got itchy feet.
No, my accent is too strong. I can't get away with that.
And my dad was from Liverpool.
Oh, right.
So, I had that upbringing as well. It's very earthy, Liverpudlian values. So it was a brilliant mixture, really.
Sounds it.
And as I say, an independent, free-thinking school, not part of the state system. So I was very lucky. I was very privileged in that. But yeah. So tell us a little bit more. I mean, I know we're going to do this in depth in a couple of weeks, Teresa, but tell us just a little bit about homeschooling and how you got into it.
Well, I don't know how I got into it, just something deep inside telling me this is not right and I cannot be bothered with the egg that they give me. But looking back now, I think I was always supposed to homeschool and be a teacher, because from a very young age, 3, maybe 4, that's what I used to play. Schools, line my teddies out, teach my teddies, teach my friends. So I think I always had that in mind. I think that's why I like being at home with the kids and learning, because I've always had it in me. So it's kind of deep rooted in there.
Sorry, Teresa, what was it about the current system in the schools that your child was at that has kind of forced your hand, shall we say, into homeschooling? Can you talk anything about that at all without?
Yeah, not that I know the saying completely, but it's a place where they try and make fish climb trees. That's what it is. It's one size fits all, and that's not the way the world works. It's really not. The rules, the restrictions, are not even about what's gone on over the last 2 years. How they restrict a child, that they don't let them be. There's no time for spiritual growth. Like, it is shutting lights off. It's really taking children away from being children, and learning and experiencing for themselves. It's not the same as being told, like, oh, that's hot. You have to touch it to find out. That is how we learn and grow, So it was seeing their little lights being shut off, and the way the children are trying to express themselves and trying to get away from that. They're too young. Their minds cannot cope. So they are finding violent ways. They're becoming involved in groups of people, gangs, crowds, drugs, smoking, lying to your parents, like all of that stuff. And if they're not in school, they won't know none of that. That's the only place they learn it.
I think a lot of it's frustration, isn't it? Because they feel as though they don't fit into that particular environment, and it all comes out in other ways, doesn't it?
A parent's perspective, it is like you have a separated relationship, like with the school. Like, one is one parent, one is the other parent, and you kind of need a mediator in the middle. Because you have your way of doing things, they have their way of doing things. There's no meeting in the middle, and it is just the child that suffers. That's it. That's the only way my experience. And that's going from when he was in infant school was okay, but junior school, I mean, I've changed schools 3 times in junior schools. We've done 1 term of secondary school, and I've already changed 2 secondary schools. So it's just the system.
How old is your boy?
He loves school. He loves school. He loves learning. He loves his friends. He loves his teachers. It was really hard to try and convince him to do it different. But bless his little heart, he's giving it a go.
How old is your boy, Teresa?
He's 12 in like a week and a half. So yeah, 12.
I mean, kids aren't supposed to be regimented.
No. Not only that, but he is becoming a young lad, and he's also hitting puberty. So his sleeping patterns have changed, his eating habits have changed, his mood, his energy, everything. It literally changes from one day to the next. And you can't routine that. You can't fit that. Do you know what I mean? You can't. You just have to flow. Let them be. Let them explore, learn that part of themselves, encourage, support them. Let them feel their feelings and learn and grow from that in a positive way. School has no time for that. I mean, you're a failure if you can't step up to their expectations. Then you're no good. You're a write-off.
Schools just want to make workers.
Yeah.
That's all they're there for. It just fit into the economic
Well, that's
system.
where the idea come from.
Well,
It come from the workhouses in Victorian times.
Yeah. They just want to bring kids up that can fit into the.
And where are all the parents
system
now
that
while
we
the
were all
children
born
are at
into.
school?
Sorry?
Where are all the parents now while the children are at school? At work.
At work. At work.
Has it changed? In 100 years, 150 years, has it changed?
Well, it changed a lot, because when I was a kid, it's a long time ago, I know. A breadwinner, who was usually the husband, but not necessarily, could earn enough money to run the family, have a nice home on one wage. My dad did. My mum never went out to work.
2 wages don't even cut it now.
No, two wages aren't enough.
No. Even your children need a paper round.
Sorry?
Even your children need a paper round.
There's a tiny house opposite over the road from where I live, and it's a 2-bed terraced house, and it's just been sold for over £250,000.
Yeah.
Are you joking me?
No, you know where I live. So a 2-bed tiny house, just over £250,000.
Yeah.
Just incredible, isn't it?
So I don't know exactly where this place is. I'm going to have to find out. But old army barracks being changed into, or prisoner of war camps, not army barracks, prisoner of war camps in Essex. I'm going to have to find out where it was, because I can't remember off the top of my head. They are, it's a bit of history for the village there. It's all run down, derelict now, but there's cars still there, and, you know, tools, there's all sorts of bits still there. I really want to go and explore. But they have planning permission now to build like 8 new homes over £1 million each. Knock it all down, get rid of all the history, throw these £1 million homes on top. But who can afford those?
Yeah, there's some new houses going up just opposite where I live. And I looked inside the other day, and the rooms are tiny. I don't know how they're going to fit a bed in, let alone or a sofa or anything. They're tiny.
It's like all these smart properties, isn't it?
Sorry?
Yeah. Like all the smart properties, Jack, in London that are being built. They're probably big enough for a cat.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, the size of them. But that's very much part of what they want for our future.
Well, it's all part of Agenda 30, isn't it? It's
anyway, I think homeschooling is a massive thing, a massive part of what you're talking about, Jack, or what you've been talking about for many years.
Yeah.
Homeschooling is definitely a big part of it, you know.
And a big part of the community too.
The sort of community I'm talking about, a group of neighbours being as self-sufficient as they can between them, has to include a homeschooling initiative, doesn't it? You've got to take the kids out of school and bring them up with our kind of values. Where else are they going to get their values from? They're going to grow up with the warped values of the system. We're never going to change anything. I talk in my book. I mean, my book was a bit naive, really, because it was written 4 or 5 years ago, before any of this nonsense we've seen over the last couple of years was, before we knew any of that was going to happen. And I said it would take 30 years to bring in a new society, because we need 2 generations to grow up being taught these new values. Kids were going to have to grow up being taught the new values by their parents, who themselves had been brought up in the new values. And then it can change. It looks like we're going to have to do it a bit faster than that, but
yeah, I was about to say, I know. I think it's more than likely that with what's happened over the last 2 years and the amount of people that have woken up and the amount of groups that have formed in local communities, that you know, it's been fast tracked, mate. Your ideas, definitely.
It's fast-tracked it, yeah, it really has. Talking about this community garden that we're doing here in Stafford, I did want to give a progress report this week, but because of the storms, I'm afraid we haven't made any progress.
Well, at least the storms happened before you had made a lot of progress and had it all lost, you know, so could have been a lot worse.
Well, we've got a rickety old shed on site, and I think maybe that's no longer there, but we'll go and have a look at it.
Yeah.
Nick's all the trellis in my garden.
Sorry?
All my trellises come down in my garden.
Yeah.
I don't even want to open my front door to look at it.
Well, I was in communication with Juliet this morning about her garden, community garden in Glastonbury, and the polytunnel has survived.
Oh, brilliant.
Wow.
So that was very heartening.
That was dug in
Very
really well.
Because
Yeah.
I was worried about that.
Yeah,
We all worked so hard.
Polytunnels.
No comment,
We all worked so
Teresa.
hard last year to help her raise the funds for that. And if it had all been blown to smithereens, it would have been heartbreaking. But no, it survived. So
Good news.
So that's great news. Yeah.
The O2 didn't.
And that's
Sorry?
good news as well.
The O2.
Bloody monstrosity that is.
Yeah.
You all right, Jack?
Yeah, I'm good.
You seem to be having trouble hearing me today. I don't know why.
Oh, I'm deaf as a post and blind as a bat.
Fair enough.
I'm half dozing off, to be honest. As I said, I only got 5 hours kept last night because I was up doing this new website and getting it ready. And when I get a bee in my bonnet, I've got to do it there and then.
I think it's a brilliant idea.
There's no way I can fall asleep with ideas in my head.
Oh, tell me about it. So I decided to homeschool a week ago, and obviously I've had to plan that. So I've got 3 weeks worth of work that I've managed to put together over the space of like a few days because I've been so busy where it's been half term. So I'm definitely feeling your pain there, Jack.
Shameless plug. Take a double dose of magnesium. Shameless plug. If you're having trouble sleeping, that will always work. That will
okay.
Now,
I'll give that a go.
A friend has recommended something to me which is very good, and that's bee pollen. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I used to drink it a lot in tea, believe it or not, and I used to like the taste, but it's super good for you. I think it's full of amino acids, if I remember rightly, which is good for the brain. Yeah, it's a very, very healthy substance.
I've started spooning it into my coffee in the mornings.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I used to drink it in tea. Yeah, very nice.
And it gives you a quick boost.
Definitely. That would be the amino acids, you know. That would be the amino acids doing that. So that's really cool. Well done, mate.
Very interesting.
But I take a whole load of supplements anyway, so.
Let's talk about supplements. I like talking about supplements.
Yeah, what do you take, Jack?
What are you taking, Jack? Tell us your daily routine. Give us your daily routine, Jack, of supplementation. What are you supplementing with?
I've got a bedside table, bedside cabinet, and on the top of that bedside cabinet it are supplements, and it's full of supplements. I couldn't get another bottle on there, and I take all those once a day with water with a little bit of fruit juice in and added vitamin C and those Volvic minerals that you sent me. A squirt of those, and normally as long as I can get a decent night's sleep, that keeps me going fantastically. You know, I mean, I don't know how many have I got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18, 36 different ones I take every morning.
Every day?
Yeah.
Wow. Are you taking them all together in one go?
All together in one go.
That might be that. I'm not so sure about that, mate, because some some nutrients counteract other nutrients. So that might not be. I'll tell you what.
The best way about it.
If you could let me know what you're taking in a private message or something, and I'll get back to you on that, because you want to make the most out of what you're taking. So sometimes if you take it all in one go, or even if, for example, you were to take, let me think, something like MSM sulfur, and take that with vitamin C, the two counteract each other. So you're supposed to take them separately, at least like 10, 20 minutes apart from each other.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll have a chat about that offline, and we'll see if we can make sure you're going to get the most out of them.
Well, let's have a chat about it online, and the viewers can benefit from it too.
Well, blimey, 36 different supplements will be tomorrow, won't we, mate? That's going to be interesting.
So what clashes with what?
Well, if I take you through my routine, right? I take my magnesium and my vitamin D. I take them together. That's absolutely fine. That won't be a problem. I'll take them after my lunch. I don't eat breakfast really. And then I'll make sure I like to take vitamin C separately on its own, so it can just work.
So do I. So I put fulvic minerals. I use that to remineralize my distilled water, along with some Celtic grey sea salt every now and again. I like to mix it up. But the vitamin C I use on its own in just distilled water. I don't touch that with any other minerals. I drink that just as it is.
That's good. Yeah, I agree with that, definitely. I really want to know this massive list of supplements you've got there. 36 different ones. At the moment, myself, I'm taking magnesium, vitamin C, vitamin D, fulvic minerals every day. They're the four that
That's what I'm taking too.
Yeah, they're the four that I take every day. There are other things I take as well, but I don't take them on a daily basis. They're like sort of every now and again, or I might go through a period of taking MSM, which is I think it's the miracle supplement. No, the something or other anyway. It's basically organic sulfur, which is one of the most abundant materials in our body. It's what we get from garlics and onions and turmeric and things like that, ginger. And that's really, really good. It gives you lots of energy, does lots of wonderful things in the body. So I'll go through a period of taking that for maybe a couple of weeks, and I'll leave it alone. Even if you miss like taking magnesium for a day, your levels won't suddenly plummet. Your levels, if you built your magnesium levels up, they'll stay there for a while. So you haven't got to worry too much about that. The great thing about fulvic minerals is you've got 70 odd trace minerals in there, along with amino acids and phytonutrients and other wonderful things. So I think there's a doctor called Dr. Joel Wallach, who did a very, very famous health lecture back in the 90s called Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Okay. And where was I going with that? Fulvic minerals. And he said basically your body needs around about 90 nutrients a day. 60 of them are trace minerals, and they're all in the fulvic minerals. So by doing 7 drops in a glass of water, I'm 2/3 of the way there already. So so you're going to get a lot out of drinking fulvic minerals, Jack. Yeah, so that's a really good thing. Yeah, if anyone gets the chance, it's still on YouTube. Have a listen to Dead Doctors Don't Lie, Dr. Joel Wallach, and he goes through this list of all these different ailments, diseases, illnesses, and gives you the natural, or it gives you the deficiency that's caused that problem, and then we'll say what to do about it. If I haven't taken it off YouTube, it's more than possible. But yeah, that literally woke me up to nutrition. That lecture, I heard that in about 2005, 2006, and that really, really was a massive moment for me. Yeah. Set me on the path. So yeah, we'll go on, Jack.
Yeah. As some of you might know, I'm currently in Facebook jail.
Not again.
Again, yeah.
Do you take the bots off your device? You've got bots, fact checkers on there. You've got fact checkers on your account. So every 3 or 4 days, I'll always just check and take them off if they're on there. So you've got more chance of not being banned that way.
I'll set up another account.
That's what Jack does as well, yeah.
Yeah, I've got two going on.
Proper crafty, yeah.
It's a pain in the ass.
What I got banned for was putting up a post about supplements.
Oh, blimey. Really?
Yeah.
Anything in particular? What did the post say?
Well, I'm not going to say I might get banned on here.
Oh, I can't see it. I can't see. Change a couple of the words around or something, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I'll
Can
talk to
you
you privately.
speak in Ivigo?
Hmm?
Can you speak in Ivigo? You know, the pigeon language.
Yeah.
Or code and hold it up.
But when I got my strike, and so far, touch wood, I've only got one strike
This is
on YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
I got that for quoting government figures.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah, I think I've been banned on Facebook before for posting a thing on a government website. So
I got banned for sharing Sky News.
Hmm.
Well, I was banned, I don't know, I must have been banned 3 or 4 times last year. So I'm off to a good start. This is my second ban this year. The censorship is just gone crazy, hasn't it?
It has, but I think it's illuminating the problem. You know, it's illuminating the fact that there's no freedom of information anymore.
No.
You know, and that's a big mistake on their behalf. I think really, I think that in itself has woke a lot of people up. The censorship,
and will continue to wake people up. And I think if we are banned, we are of no use. We can't get our message out. We can't speak to anyone. So we've really wasted a good opportunity. We need to think a little bit smarter, get a little bit more clever, and maybe as fun as they are, sharing other things, turning it into our own words, our own take on things, so that it doesn't get picked up by the bots or anything, if you like, you know.
Because if you write a post in your own words, I've done that a few times and never been banned, and said things that are much worse than a meme I've shared, for example, that has got me banned.
Yeah.
So presumably that would mean that, you know, if you're writing things in your own words and getting your message across that way.
Yeah, starts like a whole new chain of algorithms, I suppose, and there's no link or connection there. Not only that, but if we stay in that place of sharing these memes, we need to ask ourselves, what place is that coming from within us? And what are we putting out there? Because if it's negative, and there is always that chance that it's possibly untrue. I mean, we can't trust the government, so why would we share their figures? That kind of thing. Then maybe we just need to come away from that altogether. Just turn it off.
Yeah, I agree with that, Teresa, with the exception of the government from the very outbreak of the you-know-what, was saying that you-know-what had a 99.7% survival rate in their own figures. I'm happy to share that.
This is why we shouldn't want to pick and choose the information that suits us. If there's some stuff that we can't believe, there's some stuff that we do believe, but how about we find that out for ourselves? And what I know is that I don't know anyone that suffered. I don't know anyone that died. I don't know anyone that was seriously ill. Like I haven't experienced any of that. Not even my close family or close friends. So that experience for me, it doesn't exist. So I'm not going to play into it.
Well, I know two people. I know two people that allegedly died of it.
I think my old Facebook that I'm banned from, that's the sharing of negativity. This new one that I want to come away from all of that together, because otherwise no one can see me. No one will join me. No one will understand where I'm coming from, because I'll be censored and banned and told to be a naughty little girl and sit on the naughty step.
Well, that's very much what co-creating the New Earth together is about. It's about looking at what we can do positively. It's not focusing on the negative. It's not focusing on the problems. It's focusing on the new Earth, the new world.
I've noticed myself doing it a lot, where I go to post something and then think, why am I doing that? Don't do that. Delete that. Forget about it. 5 minutes, I'll be thinking about something else.
And although I focus on that, I still get banned. Yeah,
That's
it's,
what they're asking you, Jack.
but having said that, I do, and I'm sure that you two do as well. I have lots of other platforms that I'm on, and I'll put the links to them below. And if you send me your other platform links, then I'll put those down below as well, both of you. If you're on Telegram or whatever, I'll put all in Gab and VK and all those. I'll put
I
all the
can't
links
keep up
down
with
below. Sorry?
I can't keep up with them all.
No, well,
I really can't. I've tried. I've set
Yeah.
up accounts on each one and tried keeping it all together. I can't do this whole technology thing. Write me a letter and put it in the post.
I've tried to keep up with it all occasionally. On the occasions that I have, I found that day I've got nothing done at all.
Yeah, I'm
It's-
stuck
Yeah.
like this.
yeah.
well, I've got two main ones. I mean, I use Facebook a lot, and I use Telegram a lot. And the only time I really use the others is to publicize these videos that we do together and the Friday ones. But basically, it's Telegram. I can say almost anything on Telegram. Although
I
some
sit there all day on Telegram.
some accounts have been closed yesterday or the day before. So it's not open house, but it's a lot freer than Facebook.
Definitely, yeah.
And I believe if what you're doing is telling the truth, you shouldn't be stopped from doing that. And I found a lot with these so-called fact checkers. They're nothing of the sort, of course. If you actually read what they've said on your post that they've put a notice on, they'll say that your post doesn't have any basis in fact, and yet they've misread the post. Nearly every time they've misread the post.
Well, it doesn't have any basis in our propaganda, would be the correct way of.
And I'm not a person. I'm just a computer that's checking
Well,
it. So it doesn't understand what you're trying to say. It just.
The computer doesn't understand the nuances. No, the algorithms don't understand the nuances. You can say, somebody said this, which is perfectly true. Somebody did say that. Not saying it's true or false, just say somebody said that.
But it's not true here.
XYZ said that.
Yeah.
And you'll still be fact checked.
There was a story a while ago about them being told off in court, I think, for somebody proved in court that they weren't fact checkers, that they were just expressing opinions, basically, and they were told off for it.
Zuckerberg admitted in court that his fact checkers weren't fact checkers. They were just giving opinion. He said that. Zuckerberg said that in a court in America somewhere, yeah.
Keeping in line with the propaganda. That's all they're doing. Exactly.
I think it's really funny that they can filter and censor and cover up and ban people over just a few words, and yet the child pornography is still all over the internet.
That's right. Absolutely.
That it just baffles me.
Teresa, do you want to wind up with a meditation?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I do.
We got 10 minutes before the end, so you carry on and give us a meditation. I love your meditations. Stuff. Absolutely love your meditations.
Oh, good. I'm pleased.
And I like the one you put on the Co-Creating the New Earth Together group as well. That was beautiful. The one Paul put up for you.
Thank you very much.
Shall we have Teresa on the full screen?
Yeah, let's do that, yeah.
Hello, everybody. So tonight I'm going to tell you a story. So I need you to get comfortable and close your eyes and imagine that you're actually inside the story. Take a deep breath in, and when you let it out, feel everything around you getting calmer and quieter. Take another long deep breath and release it slowly and feel even calmer still. As you continue to breathe deeply and calmly, notice that only one thing you want to pay attention to is my soothing voice. Now imagine in front of you is a movie screen, and on the screen you see images of your own life. You see every time you did something kind. You also see every time someone did something nice for you. And as you watch the movie, you see how happy you've made other people feel. And you see all the happy times that you've had as well. And as you continue to watch this movie, you see a time when you helped somebody who needed you. You see how happy it made them. And just as this thought makes you feel warm and fuzzy, now switch to a time when someone helped you. Think of how good you felt to know that someone was there for you. Feel all those wonderful good feelings come rushing back to your heart. And watch these beautiful moments of your life. Remember how happy you were and how wonderful you felt. All these happy feelings, all those times you felt warm and fuzzy, all of these were because of a very special feeling, and that feeling is love. These things you see in front of you happened because you loved and showed that love to someone else, and because they love you. Love is about taking care of people and doing nice things, expressing your gratitude and showing kindness and patience. Inside of us, we are all really that. Simply love. That's really who we are. When we can express this part of ourselves every day as much as possible, our hearts are filled up with joy and such satisfaction that sometimes we feel we might burst of pure happiness. And that happy love feeling means that you're part of a community of people, a very important part of a very loving universe. I want you to remember all this love you have inside of you, and how easily you can express your love with simple acts of kindness towards yourself and towards others. You truly are wonderful. You are pure love. And most of all, throughout your life, during the good and the bad times, remember how much I love you. You're one of the brightest spots in my life, and I'm so thankful for you. Notice how the love feels like a soft, fuzzy blanket wrapped around you. It makes you feel warm and peaceful and happy. Now take a nice deep breath and exhale slowly, and continue to feel the wonderful feelings of love and gentleness. And remember this when you snuggle in tonight for a sleep. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Teresa. That was lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, in the few minutes we've got left, I just want to do another unashamed plug. Juliet Yelverton, who is a wonderful trauma therapist down in Glastonbury, is starting her this coming year's 6-month series of workshops starting in April. And I'll put the links down to that as well, down in the description. You still there, Paul?
I'm still here, Jack. Yeah, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you. Yeah, you were thinking. I can see you were thinking.
Oh, lots of things, mate. Yeah. I really enjoyed the meditation, by the way. I nearly burst with happiness when you were doing it. Yeah, all over the place, nearly. 2 things before I go that I must mention. I forgot to mention about my sacred cacao ceremony that I did last week.
Yes,
Yeah.
I wanted to hear about this.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it next week. But it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I've got lots to say about that. And before we go, just a shameless plug. This Thursday at 6 o'clock is the beginning of history, health, and well-being. Nearly forgot what it was called. History, health, and well-being, which is me and
That's
Teresa.
a great start.
Yeah, right. What's it called again? History, health, and well-being. So we'll be talking about health and well-being, and also about history, deleted history, stolen history. We're going to investigate.
Ancient history.
We're going to investigate.
Yeah.
It's an investigation, basically, into all history from, as Teresa said, from ancient times through to very recently. Things that don't add up, things that we're not told, etc. So be there 6 o'clock. Really looking forward to it.
That's on your Nutrient Nirvana channel, yes?
Yeah, that's right. Live stream, 6 o'clock on Thursdays. It'll be this Thursday. Will be the first one.
Great. I'll put the links to that below too.
Thanks, Jack. Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you.
It's all happening.
It is.
It is. It is. Need to create more hours in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
definitely.
yeah. We can make a lot more out of the hours we have if we work together.
Yes.
This is my message. This is my message.
Yes, definitely.
Help each other to thrive. I mean, if anybody's doing anything interesting, I also to earn a buck, I will share it. It's just my philosophy of helping each other to thrive. Not
Yeah.
just my personal friends, although them first, obviously. But anybody who's doing something positive for the world, I'll help them to thrive by sharing what they're doing. And it would be great if other people wanted to do the same for me and for Paul and for Teresa.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
And that's really a lot to do with what co-creating the New Earth Together is all about. It's helping each other to thrive.
Which is kind of what that brings me back to homeschooling. That is what I think I'm doing all of this for that reason. This is not the world I want to live in.
No.
It's not the world I want to leave to my kids.
No.
And if you're watching this and you're not part of a group, then why don't you consider starting one in your local area? Start a local group, community group, action group, get together and try and do the things that Jack talks about.
So our group, Paul, like we've only been meeting for a couple of months, haven't we? And to be honest, I would say we're more building relationships at the minute than we are actually starting.
Yeah, we're bonding.
Anything. Yeah, we're building. Yeah, but we swap skills so far. So I know I made some teas and shared them around. And we come down with all different bits, don't we, that help each other out with. There was another lady there giving out seeds that, you know, she'd grown on her allotment and had leftovers. So she was handing them around. So like every little thing helps. Every little bit. Yeah, even holding the door open for someone, you know? Doesn't matter how small.
So we've got our first rally coming up.
Sorry?
I'm just going to finish by saying we've got our first rally coming up. Not this weekend, next weekend. Rebels on Roundabouts. If you're in Corringham, watch out.
If you're in where? In where?
In Corringham, where I live, in Corringham. We're just going to be at a very busy roundabout in the town, and we're going to have banners. Yeah, it should be interesting. Should be very good. We'll be there for about 3 or 4 hours.
And that's in Essex, is it?
Yeah, in a local area. Yeah, Corringham.
Brilliant. Very good.
Great stuff.
Thank you both for coming along and for all the people that have been watching.
And thank you, Paul.
That's all right.
And we look forward to having you in 2 weeks' time on the other show.
Yes, I look forward to that too.
Namaste.
Namaste.
See ya.
Cheers.